Let me tell you about ProHealthConnect.com. It's transforming healthcare payments, providing retailers a seamless process for over-the-counter and healthy benefit programs. By connecting retailers, health plans, and payment processors, ProHealth Connect creates one powerful, unified network. They empower independent grocers and pharmacies to accept health benefit cards without changing how they do business. With over 10,000 locations nationwide, helping more than 1.3 million people access the care and nutrition they need. Go to ProHealthConnect.com.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi. Okay, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
So I got to tell you, being in media, I view the local teams differently than growing up as a kid and just being a fan. What do I mean by that? I've been a diehard New York Ranger fan my whole life. My wife and I started this foundation inspired by our son, Gabriel, Dyspraxia, DCDamerica.org, for the millions of children and adults who've been diagnosed with dyspraxia. And we hold these charity events throughout the year. And not one local team has stepped up to help us. But the Florida Panthers and Vinny Viola, they put together a Dyspraxia DCD American Night last year, and it was fantastic. Let me move to baseball. I've met Steve Cohen a bunch of times with Bill O'Reilly at Citi Field. He's been very nice. But there's no relationship there between me and the Mets. Today happens to be opening day in the Bronx. And the Yankees return home after games in San Francisco and Seattle. 5-1. They look very good. They're going to host the Marlins this afternoon at Yankee Stadium. And I'm going to be there. Me, my beautiful wife Danielle, my son Gabriel. And why? Because Yankee president Randy Levine and I have this great relationship. I'm not a Yankee fan. I'm a lifelong diehard Met fan. Yet, again, the Mets, and Jay Horace was nice over the years, but they pay no attention. And the Yankees, like the Panthers, they go out of their way to be nice to the media and the fans. Randy Levine was just with President Trump at the White House a couple of weeks ago. And then I saw Randy Levine on Brian Kilmeade's fantastic show, One Nation. I heard Randy Levine on Brian Kilmeade's fantastic radio show that follows me each and every morning. And I know Brian's a Met fan, too, Massapequa, Long Island. But I think he now is starting, or maybe he knows already, to feel the way about Randy Levine that I do. So today, opening day for the Yankees, I'm proud to be there because Randy Levine cares about New York and cares about us. Don't you agree, Brian?
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, the thing is, he was deputy mayor, too. So he dates back to George Steinbrenner days, so we remember the craziness, but the intensity when everything seemed to matter. George Steinbrenner was on the back page every single time, and Randy Levine always had his back, and now he's president of the Yankees, who's still in touch with what's going on in the news, what you do now, and I used to do sports, you used to do sports, so it's a perfect blend. He understands the real world. I mean, I think General Jack Keene's got to be there today, so hopefully you guys will have a chance to talk. He's one of the great, brilliant military minds and great patriots in our country. So he's very tapped in. And you know what? The Yankees don't take anything for granted. They don't say because we're the Yankees, people are going to come. Whatever you think. I know they're judged by championships, but don't take it for granted that you're in contention, Yankee fans, every single year. The fact is, when you don't win, you're in the playoffs, except for 1 year, and then you tore it all down for 1 year, and you came back the next year, I think, and won the World Series. So the Yankees will be in contention this year, and I think they're favored to win the American League again. They came back relatively in pat, and they're off to a great start. So Randy Levine appreciates that, and he wants that sold out. And he also knows the power that you bring to New York City.
And I tell you what, Brian, of course, this is why his radio show is so great every day, and he's great on Fox News every morning, Fox and Friends, and he's got the best cable show in the business, his own One Nation, 10 p.m. Sunday nights, because he's so diverse. Like, you're going to see the conversation shift now from Yankees and Randy Levine to some more important stuff, but Brian Kilmeade can discuss everything. That's why I think he's the best. I really do. I want to move to Pam Bondi. She gets fired. Todd Blanche has the interim manager role until Lee Zeldin, I guess, takes a job. But I'm confused. Maybe you can help me. I know she got fired because of Epstein. Yes, Jim Comey should go to jail and the rest of those guys. But I find that to be the secondary story. I really believe the Epstein files was the issue. And the other side keeps yelling and screaming about all these billionaire pedophiles. Well, I know President Trump has been cleared 1,000%. So who are all billionaire pedophiles that the left, even members on the right, keep yelling and screaming about that is keeping this story alive?
I don't get it. And everyone gets on me for saying this. But, I want to get to the bottom of it. Okay, there's a lot of things I want to get to the bottom of. I still like to see everybody Rex Uerman killed out of Long Island. I think there's really important stories out there. That's a story to find out who's the next financier who's running around with world leaders and the most powerful people like Bill Gates on a daily basis, going to parties that you and I are not invited to or all of our listeners aren't invited to. Well, it turns out that I think some of these people knew what he was up to. Others just thought he was a playboy who was a multi-billionaire. And they thought, if I'm going to get a job like, the former CIA director, you should call Epstein. He knows everybody. So when you leave the political sector, you call up Epstein. He's got some job for you. And then there's a story like RFK Jr. was on a plane. They were doing a charity environmental thing. So him and his daughter hopped on the plane, and Epstein drove him out to Utah, and they went on this environmental project. So is he in the Epstein files? Yeah. But did RFK Jr. do anything wrong? No. So this thing goes on and on and on. Now, who those people are, if people I don't know, get to the bottom of it. But let me ask something. Where was Joe Biden? Where was Barack Obama? The end of George Bush's administration? I mean, all of a sudden it's Donald Trump's fault. So, now they, whether she didn't handle it good. I mean, Susie Wiles came out and said she whiffed on this. Okay. The Comey prosecution didn't go well. The Tish James prosecution didn't go well. So maybe it was a situation where she was forced to put cases together that weren't there, or she didn't pick the right people. I don't know. I'm not an attorney, but the president's not going to do things different. This is what I like about it. Hey, Pam, it's not going as good as it can. I'm going to make a change of justice. In 30 days, you're done. What do you want to do next? They talk for 2 days. He makes the move. Now the word is that other people might be heading out the door, but they say Tulsi Gabbard is not. So he might be making some changes. But he's doing it without the bitterness of last time. So this way you don't get enemies. Like Joe Kent is an absolute, he's anti-Trump. He's pro right-wing podcaster. But the rest are leaving, moving on. Mike Waltz gets a really good job here in New York City. So the president's just saying, produce. If you don't produce, I'm going to make a change, but it doesn't have to be personal. And I love that.
Yeah, the back to the Epstein thing for a second. I'm called out on Twitter every day. I never met Jeffrey Epstein. Didn't even come close. I was a young kid making no money. Wasn't traveling in Epstein circles yet. At least 20 times a day, because I'm very, very friendly with President Trump like you are, I'm called a pedophile every day on Twitter. So I decided yesterday to stop deleting all the nasty posts just so people can see how deranged and how sick people are that they would include me in that conversation because I like President Trump. But, you say that people are coming, people are going, and most of the people seem to be okay outside of people like Joe Kent. But the hottest rumor right now, Brian, is the next guy to go is going to be FBI Director Kash Patel. What are your thoughts on that rumor?
I don't know. They said the same thing about 6 months ago. I know the president was not happy about the locker room drinking with the hockey team. And they have made changes. And I think the FBI, in terms of pure arrests and law enforcement, is doing a great job. I know they were just a major hack, but it wasn't in the New York office, but it was a Washington office. It was in one of the island offices for the FBI. But, that's a term that's supposed to be, 6 years, and it's supposed to just traverse administrations and be the one that holds over from party to party, like Robert Mueller was kept on by Barack Obama after George Bush hired him. So I don't really know. I thought he was happy with Kash Patel, but I have heard that rumor, so I'll wait. They push back strong against Tulsi Gabbard, but haven't yet. But look for either that to happen today because it's a Friday. That's when people like to do these things. Or a big pushback from Stephen Chung, who's the communications guy at the White House, to say not true.
How disappointed, Brian, were you that the jury came back? We talked about this on your radio show and our little handoff yesterday, but not here on this show. How disappointed were you that the jury came back with a not guilty on murder one for that lowlife scumbag guy, Rivera, who absolutely murdered Officer Jonathan Diller. And don't tell me when a criminal with 21 priors leaves his house with a loaded weapon that there was no intent. Well, of course there was. Why is he carrying around that gun every day? Because at some point he was going to use it. It was a dreadful decision. It may or may not matter in terms of this guy ever seeing the light of day. It may. But either way, it was a loss for Stephanie Diller, and I wasn't okay with that. What about you?
Well, you know what it says? Luigi Mangione's got to be saying, wow, this might work for me. Because these New York juries are ridiculous. And I know there was one juror number 6, that said, I am not happy with this verdict, and they sent him back. So how crazy must things have been behind? So they would say behind closed doors with that jury. So he's going to get 90 years in prison, and he's probably never going to see the light of day. But the message it sends to cops who are out there putting their lives on the line, who showed up every single day, and this guy who should never have been on the streets, 21 prior arrests. If we got 21 speeding tickets, we'd never be able to drive again. But 21 serious arrests from this guy, and he says, okay, that's a cop. He's walking up on me. Rather than talk to him, I'll kill him. And they say it wasn't intentional because these are the words, this is what I understand, because he didn't get up in the morning intended to kill cops. That's why he got away with it? But when you point a gun at a cop and shoot under his bulletproof vest, that's not an intent to kill while trying to kill his partner? So it makes no sense, but it goes to show you this is another time in New York City where you should not feel safe. Not only are criminals, it's criminal first attitude, now we find out when it comes to the juries, it's criminal first.
Let Century Management Solutions get you to your next medical appointment. They specialize in non-emergency medical transportation, connecting patients to care, safety, reliability, and on time. Their advanced technology platform seamlessly coordinates patients, healthcare providers, insurers, and transportation partners all in one powerful network. With over 200 trusted transportation providers, they deliver scalable solutions backed by real-time tracking and complete transparency. Go to SENTRYMS.com.